Hey guys, first Regardsman here. So I'll be talking about the Techmarine class in patch 12.0 of Space Marine 2 on the public test server once again. Now, today we'll be talking about the brand new starting perk, the Tarantula Sentry Guns. Now, the Techmarine has a unique class ability called Tarantula Sentry Guns. It says here, you can detect and activate these Sentry Guns. They will attack nearby enemies until they run out of ammo or are destroyed. Now, these sentry guns are placed around the map in preset locations, but they are randomized from those set locations, similar to a Guardian Relic or a Gene Seed spawn, but also far more plentiful than those. Now, the thing I want to talk about today is the fact that these sentry guns are currently on crack. They're one of the most powerful things that Space Marine 2 has ever seen. I'll show like a little clip of this, and they just positively wipe out boss spawns. They will wipe out hordes. They'll wipe out pretty much everything. They don't spawn in on like the actual Vortex boss arena and stuff like that, or like the Hive Tyrant, but they spawn pretty much everywhere else. If you like backtrack to where you have a sentry gun set up, you will just obliterate the horde. That's as simple as that. Now, what I am worried about is that Saber Interactive's going to look at this and say, oh, the sentry gun is way too powerful. We cannot have a tool so divine in this game, so we have to nerf it. And I understand that this is going to receive a nerf, because a nerf is just inevitable for Space Marine 2 sentry guns currently, mainly because at the moment, these perks like Reinforced Position, they give you a buff for being around your sentry gun, or the one over here that's called Augmented Tarantula. Tarantula sentry gun damage increases by 25% and ammo increases by 50%. These perks are basically pointless at the moment because the Tarantula sentry guns on their own are so damn powerful. Now, what I fear from a nerf regarding the sentry guns here is that they're going to go too far. They're going to make the Tarantula sentry guns a gimmick instead of like a super useful thing, because of the reason the sentry guns exist is to make up for the fact that this class does not have a lot of ammo recharge or ammo regen at all, which is kind of funny because at the moment the tactical and the heavy class can both just like generate bolter rounds out of thin air, and the Techmarine that is a Techmarine cannot, which is pretty funny, but that's just the way it is at the moment. And the reason I think they did that is because he has a servo gun, and B, these Tarantula sentry guns to save him on ammunition. But my issue is, if the sentry guns become a gimmick, if they are not very powerful, people won't want to play around sentry gun positions. They will not really care about these, and those become like this super gimmicky thing on the map. Now, at the moment, the Tarantula sentry gun HP is a little too high as well, because if we look at the prestige perk tree, the perk here, Volatile Sentry, Sentry Turret Explosion Damage increases by 40%. I have quite literally never seen this perk ever take effect. In fact, I have never seen a sentry gun die in the PTS yet, because they just have too much damn HP. But if they do blow up too quickly, the explosion damage is not substantial when there are a bunch of enemies around them. It will feel pretty bad. I think players will not want to use the sentry guns at all, and they'll go for like far more practical builds, which are pretty much things like explosive equipment damage, the combat squad resupply, or they'll just go all in on the burn damage for their servo gun, which, to be honest, people are already doing this anyways, because the servo gun fire damage is just significantly better than other options. Now, I think that sentry guns are pretty important to Space Marine 2's Techmarine class, not just because it's like a core class mechanic of Techmarine, but it's also one of the most unique things about Space Marine 2's class design in general. This is the closest thing we have in Space Marine 2 to a Minion build. And Minion builds are one of the most popular options for newer players and more casual players and horde shooters in general, for good reason, because, you know, one of the most popular things in a horde shooter is to set up a turret like in Helldivers 2 and just hide behind your turrets and watch them kill everything. That is a very satisfying gameplay loop for newer players and more casual players. And, you know, really sweaty tryhards probably won't like it that much. They're like, oh, I don't get to interact with the game. But, you know, Space Marine 2 is for both players, or like both types of players. It's for casuals and it's for tryhards. There are multiple difficulty options in this game, but I think that they really should prioritize having these feel pretty damn fun to use for newer players, because the Techmarine, the whole point of this update is to bring players back to the game, is to revitalize the class dynamics of Space Marine 2, and if the Techmarine's like signature ability basically is just a little undercooked, it's going to feel pretty bad. I think players won't want to use them as much, and we're basically limiting the major feature of this class. So I hope they don't nerf down the damage too much, though I do think boss damage needs to be looked at. I really want these perks like Reinforced Position or the one over here, Augmented Tarantula, to have a place in the game beyond like, oh, I'm gonna do like a super gimmicky sentry gun build. My sentry gun will do like 20% as much damage as the rest of my kit if I built it in like a separate way. So hopefully look at that, but don't go too far. So let me know what you guys think in the comments below. This is a little thing I wanted to bring up, because don't get me wrong, Tarantula sentry guns do need a nerf, because no single class ability that's AI automated should should just be able to wipe out a boss spawn all on its own. But that being said, if they do go too far, this entire class ability is cooked. And as far as other issues, I kind of have the Techmarine. I'll go into more on this in like a future video, but some of his perk design is a little undercooked, and I think that a lot of what's holding this class back at the moment is, number one, all of his weapons are pretty much a worse version of what they are on another class, mainly Tactical, because Tactical just has way more range damage buffs that are more practical to use than the Techmarine does, and the main downside of Tactical is that he is very squishy, but so is the Techmarine. Actually, the Techmarine is squishier in base HP than the Tactical is, though he does have more options for things like range damage reduction. But as far as the Tarantula Sentry guns go, one of the major buffs of this thing here says all team members within 15 meters of an active Tarantula Sentry gun take 25% less damage and deal 15% more damage. This is a really fun perk effect. I think players would love to use this because it's like, alright guys, let's all hide behind our Sentry gun and we'll fight around this, we'll take less damage, and we'll deal more damage. This is very similar in effect to a perk like the Bulwarks of Glory Shield here that reads all team members in the banner's area effect take 20% less damage and the banner lasts 20% longer. This is one of the most entertaining team perks in the entire game, and I think this one could definitely fit that niche on the Techmarine. And when you put down a Sentry gun and then you also activate your servo gun with like a plasma shot and like start just putting out horde clear everywhere, that is one of the most satisfying things about the Techmarine. And currently I think that the Techmarine is the most entertaining class in Space Marine 2. I think it feels like a post-launch class, and what I mean by that is the Techmarine feels like it took the past year and a half of updates into account when they were designing the gameplay loop of this class. This class does not feel clunky at all. The perk tree for it may be a little undercooked in some areas, but to be honest, that is way more of an issue with the overall game design for its perks rather than just the Techmarine, because pretty much every class in Space Marine 2 has some absolutely trash tier perks that just have not been fixed at all since launch. But as far as the gameplay loop of this class is concerned, I think it'll be a hit. Like, I think the Techmarine will be incredibly popular, and the automatic gun strikes from the servo gun, they feel good to use. Like, the fundamental class gameplay is really, really fun. It's probably the most fun in the entire game, in my opinion, and the new animations on things like the Omniscient Axe, these will also hit. I think players will be a huge fan of this, but as far as the gimmick mechanics are concerned, I do think that these minion builds need to be properly functioning. I mean, you can't launch it to be ridiculously overpowered, but if we're being real, having a class come out a little overtuned is better than coming out underpowered. I mean, just look at the Darktide Hive Scum versus RBDs. RBDs came out incredibly powerful and was a huge hit, and then Hive Scum comes out, and not only is like a less interesting class design fundamentally just because people don't care about Hive Scum as much, but it's also just that the class was a little harder to play and definitely weaker than the RBDs was at launch. So hopefully they take a look at this and make sure this gimmick mechanic, or actually not really a gimmick mechanic, the minion mechanic is properly functioning so it doesn't become a gimmick mechanic. But that is pretty much everything I want to talk about when it comes to the Techmarine class's brand new Tarantula Sentry guns. Let me know what you think about these in the comments below. I think most people in the community agree they need to be nerfed a little bit, but hopefully they don't overdo it because they have overdone nerfs before, similar to the tactical grenade launcher only recovering one grenade now with Emperor's Vengeance every 30 seconds. I'll talk about this in a different video at some point, but for now, hopefully that's not what they do, and that's all I have to say in this one. And as always, guys, thank you for watching. Take it easy. If you like content like this, subscribe for more. Bye.